Episode 198. The 30-something young man who thought Han Li looked familiar gave it a moment's thought, then suddenly remembered something.
Second brother, what do you mean by that? Are you deliberately trying to provoke this senior so he'll kill us all in a fit of rage?
The moment those words left his mouth, even the dark-faced elder and the young woman were taken aback, and Han Li himself was no exception, caught off guard by the young man's inexplicable declaration.
As for that second brother, his face went deathly pale in an instant, and he offered not a single word in his own defense.
Fourth brother, have you lost your mind? How could second brother possibly want us dead?
The woman turned back again, as if to say something to the dark-faced elder, but what met her eyes was a face of utter gloom.
His heart skipped a beat, and for a moment he was at a complete loss.
Second brother, is it that you want us all to die just so third sister can live alone?
Sorry, big brother. You know what they're capable of. If we let anything slip, third sister, still in their hands, will suffer 100 tortures, a fate worse than death. Better she be obliterated, soul scattered, than endure that living hell.
The young woman's face went deathly pale at those words. Her lips moved, but no sound came out.
Even if third sister is your precious logic, are you willing to trade the 3 of our lives for just one of hers?
Second brother, fourth brother may have spoken a bit harshly, but he's not wrong. When the 5 of us swore brotherhood back then, we said we'd live and die together. But now you doom us all for your own selfish whim?
What else was I supposed to do? Third sister is carrying my own flesh and blood. I can't let the Li family line end with me. If it weren't so, a living dog is better than a dead lion. Who'd be looking to die?
This statement immediately made the old man and the young man freeze, their faces filled with shock. For a moment, they didn't know what to say.
The woman's jaw dropped, her face a mask of utter shock.
Are you two quite finished? Then allow me to speak.
Han Li's voice cut through the air, jolting the 3 of them. Only then did they remember that the one who truly held their lives in his hands was this Foundation establishment cultivator before them. Their righteous fury evaporated in an instant, leaving them staring at each other once more.
I don't care whether you lot genuinely want to die or are just putting on a show for me. It doesn't matter. All I want is every piece of information about the person behind this. Even if you truly want to die, you'll have to do it after telling me what I need to know. Do you still think you have any say over life and death at this point?
Han Li's words were utterly cold and merciless, causing the 3 men and 1 woman's faces to drastically change.
What do you want to know? Truth is, we don't know much ourselves. Plus, they placed a restriction on us called the blood curse. If we leak anything important to outsiders, the restriction activates immediately and our hearts burst.
A blood curse? Interesting. Let me take a look.
Upon hearing this, the dark-faced old man's spirits lifted slightly. After a brief hesitation, he stepped forward, extending his arm with a glimmer of hope.
I hope this person can really remove the blood curse, but it doesn't feel very likely. After all, the one who cast that curse was so confident, everyone who tried to tip someone off or leak the secret dropped dead on the spot.
Han Li grabbed the other's wrist, and his spiritual power began to flow slowly through the old man's body. His expression shifted, turning solemn. The other 3 of the 5 friends of Mount Meng stared just as intently at the pair, hoping that the esteemed Han Li could truly break the blood curse. After the time it takes a cup of tea to cool, Han Li set down the old man's arm and lowered his head in contemplation. A moment later, he lifted his head.
How strong was the person who cursed you? Did they chant any strange incantations or speak any odd words while doing it?
Han Li's words made the 4 across from him all show surprise, with a hint of joy mixed in.
I did. They said some weird stuff we couldn't understand, sounded like incantations, or maybe some regional dialect. The one who cast the curse was a Foundation establishment cultivator.
And after saying all that, they took a bowl of some kind of black blood, drew a strange symbol on each of our arms, and no matter how we scrubbed, that damn thing wouldn't come off.
The old man said, then bared his entire arm, revealing a strange black symbol near the end of it. Han Li stepped forward, took a close look, then nodded. He lowered his head again, lost in thought.
Not long after, Han Li suddenly looked up and gave them a mysterious smile. That's it. I think I understand this blood curse now.
Senior, is this true?
The other three were equally stunned, disbelief written across their faces. This blood curse was like a blade pressed against their throats, forcing them to obey those people's commands.
If they could really remove this blood curse, wouldn't they be free again, no longer at anyone's mercy?
This so-called blood curse is really just a spoken curse. Those restrictions that affect you rely entirely on those strange incantations. They have nothing to do with the black blood behind you or the symbols painted on your arms. That's just a bunch of smoke and mirrors.
Though Han Li appeared completely confident on the surface, inwardly he was breathing a silent sigh of relief.
As for this incantation technique, I was fortunate enough to have come across it in a very obscure book while researching the Great Shift token. Otherwise, I'd have no leads at all right now.
Senior, can you break this curse?
I don't know.
Han Li's cold remark made their hearts skip a beat. The wild joy that had just spread across their faces quickly faded.
What does Senior mean by that?
Now that the key to breaking the curse was in Han Li's hands, he didn't dare offend him in the slightest.
There are two ways to break the verbal curse. One is to know the incantation itself. In that case, I simply recite it over your spiritual power, and it will be safely removed. The other method is for me to invade your sea of consciousness with my spiritual sense and forcibly erase the traces of the verbal curse. However, this method requires the remover's spiritual sense to be far stronger than the caster's. If it isn't, it will immediately trigger the curse. You should know well enough what happens then.
What? It'll trigger immediately?
The bloody scene when the curse activated, the caster had demonstrated it on a living person right in front of them, the victim coughing up chunks of blood and a shattered heart. That gruesome sight had left them all deeply worried and terrified. At this thought, their faces turned pale. Wasn't this essentially gambling with their lives? Han Li swept his gaze over them and let out a single sharp laugh.
Just as he was about to say something, the tall, thin second brother suddenly looked up.
Senior, just go ahead and forcibly break the curse for me. All of us were blood cursed by the same person. If I can break this curse, then my brothers can too.
The other three stared wide-eyed, frozen in place as they gazed at him.
Second brother, what are you doing? This is too dangerous.
Enough. My mind is made up.
The young woman grew anxious. She quickly turned back, worried, shooting a pleading look at the young man and the old man.
The two exchanged a glance. The young man remained silent, while the old man let out a sigh.
Fifth sister, let second brother handle it. He's trying to make amends for what happened before. This is the only way he'll find some peace of mind.
The woman wanted to argue further, but the tall, thin second brother had already stepped up to Han Li.
Senior, begin. Let me be the test subject.
The speaker's words carried a heavy, tragic air, but what happened next left the four of them stunned, as if doused with ice water.
Have you people misunderstood something? When did I ever agree to lift your blood curses?
Han Li's words left the five brothers of Mount Mang exchanging uneasy glances.
If you never plan to lift the curse, then why study it on my big brother?
Did I say I was studying this blood curse to break it for you? I was merely curious.
Hearing Han Li's merciless words, they stood frozen on the spot.
But, Senior, didn't you want to know about those matters? If you don't lift the blood curse from us, how can we answer your questions?
The young man's face was full of anxiety, clearly unwilling to let this glimmer of hope slip away.
Han Li shot him a sidelong glance at those words, then let out a few cold chuckles and silently turned his gaze skyward.
Don't bother asking, Junior. This senior clearly believes the information we've given him isn't worth our lives. That's why he's reluctant to act.
This dark-faced elder, with his many years and wealth of experience, hit the nail on the head.
Just tell us your terms, Senior. If you can truly break the blood curse, the 5 brothers of Mengshan won't say a word against it.
Good. If you'd said that from the start, we wouldn't have had to dance around it.
Han Li suddenly clapped his hands, a faint smile spreading across his face, his demeanor turning genial. But to the 4 of them, it only made Han Li seem more unpredictable, planting a seed of awe in their hearts without them even realizing it.
The conditions are simple. If I can break your blood curse, you will tell me everything you know, and from today onward, you will temporarily follow my orders and help me deal with this group's attack. I figure they won't let me off that easily, and I'm just as keen to settle this with them quickly. You need not worry about being outnumbered. I am a cultivator of Yellow Maple Valley here in Yujing merely to attend to some sect business. Just hold out a little longer, and I'll call for reinforcements. Then you won't have to fear these rats anymore.
Han Li laid out the terms with a genial expression, unabashedly waving the sect's banner. He was certain that only this would make them fully committed.
Senior, are you a cultivator from Yellow Maple Valley?
The old man had long suspected Han Li's origins lay within the 7 sects, but hearing the admission still brought a smile to his face.
Good. Then everything will be as you say, Senior. We won't stand idly by. Once the blood curse is lifted, we'll be their targets anyway. Safer to stick close to you, Senior.
The young man and woman heard the elder's words and showed delighted expressions, offering no rebuttal. Clearly, they both agreed with his plan. For them, the 7 sects were obviously far more powerful than the forces that controlled them with blood curses, so of course they could defect.